Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's action figure showcase, we have part 3 of my favorite stables in my collection. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I have part 3 of my stables of my favorite stables in my collection, excuse me. And I wanted to start off with these guys today. So, I think I talked about it in part 2 with, I don't even remember. It was an AEW group. I can't think of who. It was Team Taz. So, like I said then, I started watching AEW thinking like, oh, I don't know a lot of these guys. I've heard of some, but I'm going to give it a chance. And I thought that Jericho's decision on his group on who he was going to be partnered with in the inner circle was different. I thought, oh, I've heard of LAX. I know them, but I don't know much about them, so I'm excited to watch them. And then of course, at this point, I was still like, yeah, Jericho, he's got a group, cool. And then I thought, Sammy Guevara, I think that's the guy that wore the panda on his head. And then I thought, Jack Swagger, whatever. But I thought the Inner Circle, they had a pretty decent run. But what has been common with them is that, with Jericho, is that once Jericho moves on, that's it. Whatever was working with them is zapped, and that's it. The most successful person out of this group has been Sammy Guevara, outside of Jericho, and I'm not going to go on a big rant about Jericho today, but when I got all of these, I went ahead and I got custom shirts to throw on them. I was excited about these figures and the Inner Circle, so I thought it was cool to get Santana, Ortiz, and Sammy Guevara as a new guy, so it was cool to add him to the collection. And then the Jack Swagger, I picked up because I had to finish the group. I've got a bunch of different Jerichos, and this one was just kind of hodgepodge together. I think it was the Amazon exclusive, but then I swapped on a different, one of his Unrivaled figures that had the Inner Circle shirt painted on him. Just kind of moved things around, gave him his baseball bat. But we've got other versions of Santana and Ortiz, but I like these ones the best for just when I like the Inner Circle specifically. I thought, I think Jazzware started off a lot better with their figures and has slowly moved away from the standard I kind of thought they were going to set. And I think the Sammy Guevara, as far as articulation and everything, is one of their better ones that they've made. And then the Jack Swagger, it was fine. I liked it that they gave him a little bit bigger body. I did swap the heads. I can't even think of the first head, but I remember thinking it was atrocious. And I think that this one is a little bit big, but I think it fits him and his likeness much better. So I think I also added knee pads because his legs are skinny as hell. So I added knee pads to at least give him a little more size. But outside of that, I thought everything as far as the offerings we got from Jazzwares was pretty good. So I wanted to include the Inner Circle in here and get a little more AEW representation into the showcase. Moving on. Next up is one of my favorites again. I was always a big fan of these guys in NXT, but we have Sanity, and I remember them debuting and thinking are these guys a weird Shield ripoff because of their music? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I had mixed feelings about them when they debuted. I thought they felt very redundant, but I ended up liking them quite a bit. Just their mix of characters and them being unhinged, and just I really liked Nikki Cross when she was in the group here. Killian Dane was awesome. Eric Young, I knew from TNA, and I thought that he was fun to watch. But I really like these figures. They all have rubber goods, but besides Alexander Wolf, they're all sleeveless, so it didn't really bother me. And then, so I will, just looking at them all here, I'm going to take the rubber gear off so you can see the figures a little bit better. But I am missing the scarf that I'm not missing it. I run across it in my fodder bins all the time. I just can't find it right now. So he had a gray and black one that ports in there, but they all have the removable masks that come off. which I thought was awesome. They've got Alexander Wolf. I think they've all got true effects, maybe. But these were hard to track down too. So Nikki Cross and Eric Young were both in the main elite line, and Alexander Wolf was a chase that was a part of one of the elite waves, which they did that for a little bit. I hated it. I'm glad they don't do that anymore. And Killian Dane was in the NXT TakeOver line that was exclusive to Target, and he was kind of hard to snag as well. I think I only saw him 1 or 2 times at retail, but I was obviously able to get him. So going to stop the video, get all the goods off, and we'll be right back. All right, so there they are with all their goods off, and like I said, I think these are awesome figures, and they like don't technically match. Like their attires are not the same color or anything. They all have wildly different looks, but that was like part of their group, is that they were just chaotic and just I liked them. I really liked Sanity. They did absolutely nothing on the main roster, so if you weren't an NXT viewer, you might not even know who these guys were, and I wouldn't blame you at all. But these have always been one of my favorite just little like small collections here with the groups in my collection. And like I said, I really like all of these figures. The Nikki Cross is okay. Like the articulation isn't great. I think it looks good. They did a good job on it. Just the articulation compared to what we have now isn't the same. And I really like the boots on Eric Young. Like those are a one-off sculpt with those. Just a lot about these. This part for Alexander Wolf, we haven't seen that before, so I have an extra one, which I'm going to try and use that in a head shrinker's straps to make a Hechicero custom. I'll get to that eventually. But anyway, there's Sanity. Moving on. Next up, we have the United Empire, which is not all of the group, not all of the stable, but it is pretty dang close. At least I got the ones that I really cared about as far as putting this all together. So from the left to right, we have Mark Davis, Kyle Fletcher, TJP, Will Ospreay, Aaron Henare, sorry, I blanked there, Great O'Con, and Jeff Cobb. And I have varying degrees of experiences watching and depth of knowledge with all of these guys, and I watched Aussie Open quite a bit in AEW. TJP, obviously, we had his time in WWE. He's been in TNA. He's been around a bit. I enjoy him a lot more now that he doesn't dab anymore. Will Ospreay, enough said, it's Will Ospreay. Aaron Henare has slowly grown on me. Really, since I made his custom, I've watched him quite a bit more, and I've started to enjoy his work quite a bit more. And then Great O'Con, I just think is a fun guy to watch, a fun character to watch. Very interesting. And then Jeff Cobb, I've watched him, I watch him in Lucha Underground, watch his New Japan stuff, AEW. I always enjoy when he pops up on my TV and I get to watch him wrestle, but I want to make customs of these guys. They all have such unique formulas. Like Will Ospreay was the simplest one to put together. Maybe the TJ Perkins. It's just a Buddy Matthews figure with some different calves, but like all of these, I had a ton of fun putting together. They all look so different, and I think I guess that's kind of part of the whole United Empire shtick, is that they're from different parts of the globe. So maybe that's a little bit to it, but I've had a lot of fun getting all of this together. These are all custom, so it was a lot of work to get these. The belts I got from Chaos Wrestling Club, those are really nice. They really just put these over the top, which I could fill everyone on in the rest of here with some more gold, but I'll get around to that eventually. Here's United Empire. If you want a better rundown of their parts and everything, I did do just these guys for a showcase, if you want to check that out, but that is going to be it. We've got a couple more to get to before we wrap today up. Next up, we have one of the staples of the Ruthless Aggression era, and honestly, just wrestling in general, especially WWE specifically. We've got Evolution, and we are getting an Evolution pack, but it is a 3-pack, and while the figures that are coming in it I think are awesome, and I'm very, very excited to get it, we are missing Ric Flair. So that is a glaring omission from any Evolution set, which, he's Ric Flair. We talked about it a little bit with the Four Horsemen when I went over those. That who knows? You never know. You quite literally never know what you're going to get with Ric Flair. So maybe we'll get an Evolution Flair, maybe not. We've got an Old Man Flair head, so you could throw something together. For mine, I am missing knee pads. I don't know why. I took some, I think, nope, no, I don't remember whose legs. Like some Dolph Ziggler legs, maybe? Or, I don't think they were Ric Flair legs. But maybe they were. We'll say they were Ric Flair legs. But then I took a Road Dogg torso to give him that little bit bigger torso. And then, like I said, an Old Man Ric Flair head from maybe his Defining Moments figure. And then that Batista is from the Ruthless Aggression line. I didn't do anything there. Triple H. This was a Triple H figure that I swapped the Bulldog torso onto. Did a little bit of a dry brush on the hair. And then it is the WrestleMania 20 attire with the white boots, obviously. Which I don't think we've gotten an official release. Maybe that might be coming. Maybe did we get a render of that at Comic-Con? Or am I just making that up? I don't remember. I really want that regardless. And then for my Randy Orton here, it's no different than any other Randy Orton. He does have the larger arms that he briefly had before we switched to the double jointed arms. But his purple attire here is from when he won the Intercontinental Championship originally. And even though he only held it, I believe, one time, he still is like, I was a Ruthless Aggression kid. So when I think of the Intercontinental belt, this oval belt, I think of Randy Orton. He held it for a long time. No one ever beat him for it. It always pissed me off that he would cheat, and then he wouldn't cheat, and he would just win. And he never lost, and it drove me nuts. And that's why I just think of that belt with Randy Orton. Obviously, like RVD held it, and there's plenty of other people that have held that version of the belt. But like I said, that's what I think of when I think of the oval belt is Randy Orton. So I made the purple attire, and we've got some other Randy Ortons that would fit this Evolution timeline. But I think like we've got SummerSlam Randy. The other Ruthless Aggression Randys aren't necessarily Evolution. So we are obviously getting the red and gold in that 3-pack. We're getting the Batista, and that'll all work. But this is my Evolution in all their ring gear. And we've got one more group to get to before we wrap it up today. And to finish off today's showcase, we have the Ministry of Darkness. And I might be, I don't know if I'm missing members. I think this is everyone. We've got Farouk, Bradshaw, Viscera, The Undertaker, Mideon, and The Brood, Edge, Christian, and Gangrel here. And it's not perfect as far as attires go. I think maybe not. Maybe the Edge is the only one that might not be specific to the Ministry of Darkness here. I know Edge and Christian were a part of it. I think Edge, I could give him or Christian, I also have the white version with the purple pants, but I wanted to grab the chase here. I think it just looks a little cooler with that black shirt. Gangrel is a custom, so I used a Nasty Boys lower legs, the upper leg, I can't remember all the pieces. It's mostly a Christian figure, obviously the arms and the shirt and everything. And then I just took a head sculpt from an old Jax figure, and it is not perfect. It might look decent with a repaint. The pink on the eyes looks pretty ridiculous, but we're talking about a vampire that spits blood and wrestles, so I could stretch it a little bit. I think, so talking about just the Edge here, this is what I prefer for the formula. I like this one a lot. They use tall boots, skinny legs. I did swap the Legends head onto him, and I don't have a clue where that soft goods coat came from. It's too big to be T-Bar. It's not an Undertaker. I don't know where it came from, but it works great for my Edge figure here. Undertaker, we've gotten a lot of. I think I've done a showcase just with Undertaker figures, and this is a fantastic one. They have given us this version a couple times. They did it in Defining Moments, and then like re-released it in Defining Moments, I think. I'm trying to remember, something like that, or it was like an exclusive. And then it was Defining Moments, and then San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And I love I love the vest, the cape, the head sculpt, the legs, just everything about it. It is a very, very nice Undertaker figure. So I could see that getting a greatest hits release for sure. Mideon here was a work in progress Wednesday a while ago. Bray Wyatt body. with some shield lowers and a head from House 14 that I think is damn near perfect. Viscera was like Elite 77, and you can't really do much with the body, but then again, you couldn't really do much with Viscera anyway. He was just a big dude, and he looked scary. And I was shocked that we even got a Viscera Elite in the first place. And then the Acolyte Elite Legends figures here are very, very nice. Do not like the torso on JBL. They could, like, they just give him that torso to make up for height, and it drives me insane. I hate that torso, let alone for JBL. He never has looked like that in his life. The head sculpt, though, I think is awesome. I think that's the best sculpt we've gotten for a Bradshaw. And Farouk has got the correct skin tone here. So those are two really nice Legends figures. I picked up a few of those, made some customs, like repainted those, made some customs, but really nice figures. And just the Ministry of Darkness was a group that I wanted to put together because they had a pretty prominent role for a time in the Attitude Era. But that's going to be it. So there's going to be one more part for my favorite stables in my collection. So if there's any that are missing, if you haven't seen the first two parts, go check those out. I know the first time I did my tag team one, someone was like, where in the world is New Day? And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't believe I forgot New Day. So if there's anything else that you guys would like to see, throw it out there. I'll try and sneak it in here, but that is going to be it for today. So if you like what we're doing here, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed already, go ahead and do it. If you are subscribed already, thank you very much. Please continue to like, share, comment, all of that. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.